80 games. Embrace yourself. The appeal of multiplayer games has shifted in recent times, with a growing interest in cooperative and group-based experiences. Games like Repo, Super Battle Golf, It Takes Two, and Split Fiction are great examples of this trend. What many people call friend slop reminds me of an era before, when many first-person and third-person shooters focused on co-op gaming or included multiplayer campaigns as a key feature. And man, did I love it. Years of War series, Halo 3 and ODST, Left 4 Dead 1 and 2 were considered the kings, and now much love to the fans of some Lost Planet 2 and my favorite, Army of Two. Now, there's one game that holds great memories for me that I played with friends and even randoms online, and that's
Resident Evil 5. It's time, boy.
Capcom, it's time. You've been riding high with the momentum of RE7, RE8, the Resident Evil remakes, and now Resident Evil Requiem. However, RE5 still hasn't been remade yet, and I do question this. It would have been the perfect time to remake that game since it's a classic co-op shooter. Of course, if it was to be remade, I have a few ideas I would like to offer to enhance the experience. The first enhancement will be to redesign the people and Majins and add variety to the skin tones in this Resident Evil's Africa. I don't doubt Capcom's research around the time. However, I believe they can make the people look, well, more like people from Africa, and give the distinct regions you go to different designs as far as wherever they are from in Resident Evil's Africa. Speaking of color, add some to this fictional Africa you have here. We all know the 360 PS3 is known for dull brown and gray color schemes. Some life would be greatly benefit to games like these, and changing up the environments a little bit. There's a lot of labs, harbors, and factories in these games. Those won't really change, especially with how the story goes. But a highland area and Mission 2-2, where you meet Irving before the boss, would be a nice change. This would keep the scale of the mountain range while providing some visual variation. Maybe even a coastal area at the end of Mission 5-3 before the ship deck in 6-1 would be a cool soothing area for Chris and Sheva to collect themselves from the lab and factory before. The underground areas and tombs having more fidelity, clarity, and of course, just visual diversity would be amazing. They're some of my most favorite areas. And the last addition would be a sacred grove in 3-2. This would add a mission where you protect a village from a horde. They would be protecting their divine land along with a rebellion group that will be implemented to expand Sheva's background.
My parents were involved in an accident caused by a pharmaceutical company when I was young.
Umbrella?
Yes.
Sheva, oh beautiful Sheva. There's so much to her, yet Capcom didn't implement or expand on it enough in the game. Sheva needs her goals and background integrated in the game. Seriously, have you read her in-game files? She needs what her files explain represented in the game. So there's honestly not much I need to add to it. However, we're going to give it a little bit, if I may. The theme of this game is trust and partnership, and Capcom really has has something going here. I'll be skimming over Sheva's backstory, but still adding a few additions to paint the full picture we're going to be going for with her story. Sheva lost her parents at 8 and eventually joined an anti-government group for 7 years. I would add a small group of orphans adopted by this resistance group along with Sheva. I would change it so that this group actively fights Umbrella's operations in their region of Africa and not just their country's government. She of course goes on small missions with some of the youth doing errands, but they notice she has a good awareness of her surroundings. While she is happy with them, she still seeks revenge and wants to go after Umbrella. She of course still meets the 2 recruiters, and they go on a mission to trap that Umbrella agent, which then eventually breaks up the rebellion group, and the orphans never see her again as she moves to the US, eventually joining the BSAA and Josh's team to fight any more terrorist operations around the world. She will form a deep trust with Josh, especially for his leadership and knowledge. So, how does this affect the story now that we've built upon her background and explored the files Capcom gave us? Well, Sheva's old acquaintances from the rebellion group will be fighting against Tricell. Sheva will find out from them that Tricell is working with Umbrella. Along the lines with a few missions, there will be some friction between her and Chris with trusting Tricell. Yet, it's all just a cover-up according to the rebellion group, even though they seem to be supplying the BSAA. Sheva wants to look into it and maybe find a cure for the infected or Majin. When she finds out that Umbrella is a part of it, she then will want them and those behind it dead, but she still doesn't know it's all Wesker's doing. On to the superhero, Chris. His main goal will always be to find Jill and see what's happening in the region. But because of Sheva's background with the rebellion group, a conflict will arise, questioning her allegiance, since he already lost one partner. This might happen a few times, but they'll come around to being a strong duo. And of course, Josh will vouch for Sheva. Another conflict would be Chris putting himself in harm's way to find a way to protect Jill. Now this is a little harder to implement, since just having him say, hey, don't hurt Jill might be enough. However, giving Jill maybe a clone that will confuse Chris, as he relies on Sheva's intel and emotional weight with killing the clone or saving Jill. This would be the most evil part for Wesker yet. Speaking of
the right to be a god. You.
Honestly, I got nothing. I would love more of Wesker, but I think I'm just being greedy. So, honestly, share in the comments, what do you think can be added for Wesker? I personally don't think anything. I think he's perfectly fine. Now, Excella, on the other hand. Excella is the one I would add a little bit more for. Mainly giving the rebellion group some closure. They would pretty much be integrated into her boss fight, helping destroy the lab or find a cure after. The last changes are mostly gameplay, because this game is pretty stiff, and I mean they already fixed that with the recent games and remakes. So I will say though, maybe some team combinations and like a call for Dual sniping would help, but I'm pretty sure people will be talking to each other anyway. I will say though, the treasure is extremely disappointing in this game. Barely any combinations, if none, honestly, at a treasure. Maybe some cultural treasure too. It's very unfortunate that Capcom doesn't want to remake Resident Evil 5 from the success of other co-op games and even recent Resident Evil games. This would be a great opportunity with the RE engine enhancing the look of areas and enemies to the storytelling being fleshed out. This co-op classic may even be better than Resident Evil 4. But I don't know. Tell me what you think. Should RE5 be remade? What about Code Veronica? Let me know.